Good evening, everyone who will join into the stream. I wanted to go over the patch notes once again, now that they seem to be final-ish. Not going to be very long stream. I'm going to try to be synthetic as much as I can, at least. And yeah, I'm going to be talking about the tier 10s only, because I don't really care about the other tiers. And I'm gonna try to be giving mostly my opinion about randoms, but also tournaments in some way. So starting by the F3, probably gonna still be an S tier tank. Reactive being removed and sandbags being removed obviously make it uh, a weaker tank, but it's still gonna be very good because reactive was not the thing that made it broken. It was really the fact that the armor is trollish, the gun is an auto reloader, so you can't push it without getting punished. You can't. If they push you, you're gonna get clipped out and die very quickly. And the mobility is pretty decent for a tank that has this much armor. I'd say like you have better chances to tank more shells with an F3 than a mouse, in my humble opinion, especially if the player you're against knows what they're doing. The F3 is trollish, whereas the mouse is hard to pen, but like if you have penetration and you're aiming properly, you're not gonna have like too many weird bounces. And also the mouse has a horrible gun, which doesn't do anything. The F3 has a horrible gun, but at least you've got some damage output. 114 SP2, I don't know how this tank is getting buff nerfed, but I don't think it's amazing. It's like a B tier tank, not very playable probably in Clone Wars. BZ75, 130, why would you not play an I7? Like, right, not really great. This one is not really great, but at least it's kind of fun. I mean, you could move up to B tier, I guess, but let's try to be a bit conservative with those opinions. WZ, still not great tank, but playable. Like most tier 10s are playable, even if they're not great. The 113, probably B tier tank, because just it has DPM. WZ, quite a strong tank in my opinion. You could put it in A tier if you're like a very good player, DD player, but for most people I think it's B just because the mobility has been nerfed so much, and it's also getting a nerf, so probably might move down to C tier. 121 might be A or even S tier next patch because it still has reactive armor, the tungsten consumable getting an armor buff, if I recall correctly, and getting a I can't recall correctly. Let's look at the patch notes. There we go. And yeah, damage buff, so it's gonna hit pretty hard. So that's a straight up DPM. No, they're nothing the reload time. DPM is roughly the same. Okay. Back to the tier list. So probably gonna be one of the A or S tier tanks. Even right now it's probably like B, but it's gonna move up like 1 or 2 tiers, I think. 121, underrated tank, probably A tier, might even be S. I think for randoms it's like very underrated. Not clan war playable probably, but just A tier tank, solid tank. WZ right now is pretty good, but it's also underplayed. It's getting a few changes, but not really significant. Probably B or A tier. TP, probably B or A tier. It's like a horrible tank to play. I don't enjoy at least. And it's not enjoyable when it's a meta tank also because the arm is trollish, the gun is trollish. It makes for a very unfun gameplay, in my opinion, when it's spammed. And I think it's B or A tier because just the armor and the gun make it kind of playable. It's what the E100 wishes it could be with a big gun. Caro is getting overall nerfed, I think. Could be B tier, A tier. CS getting somewhat buffed, but the shell velocity nerfs are really kind of impacting this tank, I think, because you want to snipe a lot. Or be at long ranges a lot, and Wargaming is nerfing their shell velocity across the board, and this is very frustrating. and I think for this tank that's a big problem. So I'm gonna probably leave it around A tier, but it's probably like a very experienced tank only. It's like it's a tank for very experienced players only, I would assume. Kran, a lot of people love this tank. A lot of people think it's amazing and will be good next patch, or claiming it will be, and I think it's dog shit. I don't like playing with it. I don't like playing against it. I think the tank is mid, and it was only playable because the gun was behaving somewhat decently and better than the F3. And that has like a lot of penetration, so it goes through the F3 quite reliably. DPM's better than the F3, and it has gun depression. So overall, it's a way worse tank than the F3 because like it's getting a gun handling nerf, so it's going to be less accurate, and you're going to take longer trying to aim, so it's probably going to be worse. On flat ground, the hull is paper. You burn a lot. Yeah, not a great tank overall. Minotaur, garbage tank design, annoying to play against, annoying to play. Probably be a tier tank. I'm not sure what they're doing to it. I actually don't really care too much, to be honest, but it's probably going to be a B tier tank. Progetto, I know it's getting a few buffs, probably still like a B, C tier tank. The armor is kind of trollish, but apart from that, the gun's not great, and the tank overall is not amazing. Rhino, a very difficult tank to rate. It could be like C, or it could be like E, A, or S, just because this tank right now is probably like pretty decent, kind of like the Crown, but like at least more enjoyable to play than the Crown. But it's getting a big DPM nerf, I think, and it's getting the equipment where it's gonna be like either faster or has more gun depression, same as the Type 71. I'm gonna probably leave it in the B or A tier. Let's go with A because I think the potential mobility buff that it's getting could make it a solid contender if you want to chase mediums or take key positions very quickly. But I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure that this makes up for the DPM nerf. I can't find a tank. Rhino. Um. Yeah, the reload nerf is like pretty hefty. STRVK, I don't even think they're touching this tank. They are. And they are nerfing it. Oh no, effective acceleration is buffed. Slightly. And the gun handling is buffed a bit. Still gonna be a pretty bad tank, I think. C tier. TVP is getting buffed, but I think it's not the right buffed. Changed, I should say. Not in the right department. It's gonna be pretty underwhelming with 3 shells. I don't really get the point of this tank. It's a massive fridge, not really well armored, so it takes a lot of shots. You need to clip to be good. It was very powerful because the clip was like stupid broken, and now the clip is just meh. So, and clip is the only thing going for it. Hey guys. Yeah, that's my opinion. Obviously, it's subjective. Not sure you'll all agree with it, but yeah, you may discuss and complain. VZ55, not really sure about this tank. I don't play it. It might be okay. I'm not really sure what it's getting. VZ. Magazine reload buff, gear oil provision, estimated buff times, aim, yeah, cool. Okay. Cool story. Yeah, maybe A. B or A. I don't like the tank that much, but could be playable. Let's leave it for B for now. Even if it's buffed, I don't see it being very meta. Batch out of the 100 is getting changed. Might still be A, might be B, kind of unsure. Same for the 105. In general, I think light tanks will be pretty good next patch, but maybe not the batch shot so much, and WZ not so much either. But I like light tanks, and I think they're the strongest tanks you can play, if you're a good player at least. 30B is getting buffed, maybe B tier. It was like probably C tier in this patch. it used to be A or S, and now it's probably back in B tier. 50B, A tier probably, because it's not all round insane, but it's a strong tank. Getting back its 3-shell gun, so might be okay. The intro clip is back to 1.5 on the TVP, so yeah, it's gonna be like strong, right? But you're gonna have like 900 alpha or something on the clip. I'm not sure. Look. Eh. You're getting a view range nerf. Shell velocity is going to be down to 900, so that's going to be disgusting. The shell burst is going to be 960, so you're going to have like a batch out shell kind of clip potential, which is not great for a tank with 18-second reload. The DPM is getting buffed by 100, so like I don't know, like the you can't snipe. You have to play close range. Your tank is massive, no armor. I don't see it. I don't see it being much different from now. Forge, kind of a fun tank, not really great. I'm not sure if it's getting many changes. Probably B tier, maybe even C. Kind of depends. I need to check the buffs and nerfs. Oh, obviously, I'm not going very much into detail, just giving a rough opinion right now. No changes to the Forge, so yeah, I'm probably going to be lagging a bit behind. Especially maybe because the meta will be a tiny touch faster than before. I'm not sure how it will impact the Foch needing to play in against slower tanks. Because the advantage of the Foch really is, yeah, your arm is not great, but it kind of works a little bit frontally. Your tank is strong because you have good penetration and good alpha, and you're fast, so you just get into good positions faster than heavy tanks and get to farming, I guess. M4 is getting nerfed, probably a B tank. It's like it's S. It used to be S at least because you could like tank a lot of shots and move forwards and shit. And now it's just not going to be able to do that so much because the gun is not great and it's losing reactive. So probably B tier tank, maybe A at most, but probably B. Easy tank to play though. E100 with the 12 centimeters getting a buff. This tank is probably A tier for randoms. It's kind of slow, so I don't appreciate it so much. You could argue that it's S on some maps, but I think mostly like it will be A tier. 15 centimeter, why would you play the 15 centimeter on the 100 when you can play a 60 TP? 15 centimeter is like fine, not anything special, I think. Grail, I like this tank, probably one of the best TDs for randoms. I play it without the spore liner, so you get full benefit of all the foods, fuel, improved gear oil, I think. So it goes like fast as fuck, and it's getting a buff being able to traverse the gun much more next patch, more the gun depression, so a bit more flexible. I think this TD can be like, if you want to win games, probably B tier. If you want to have fun and do some damage, maybe A tier. E50 I'm getting a big nerf, probably down from S to B tier, I'd assume. Maybe stays for A in randoms if you just like want to platoon and push one side, but I assume you've got better things to do in randoms. Panzer trash tank, still somewhat playable. KPZ getting somewhat of a buff. Tungsten shells? I don't remember. No, it's not getting tungsten shells. It's just getting like some gun handling buffs, I think. So I assume probably A tier or B tier. Kind of an easy tank to play also. Leopard 1, probably A tier just because of the DPM and mobility. I'm not sure. I think it's getting a buff also. Range nerf, shell velocity nerf on the HN, AP to APCR and DPM nerf, damage buff, APCR. So overall a DPM buff, slightly. The alpha is going to be pretty pleasant, 370, and the APCR shell velocity is going to be really good at 1.6k. So yeah, it might be decent. Mouse, I don't see the potential in this tank. I know some people like it. I think this tank is like B at most. In randoms, it's probably maybe A if you want to win some games in platoons. But I don't like the damage output, and I think this tank is trash versus good players which know how to aim. VK is a better E100 with a 15 centimeter, yeah. Nice joke. So probably A tier. Maybe B tier, depends on what you want from your heavy tanks. VK90 probably B tier. It's still very good against people which don't have hands and don't know how to aim. Really annoying to play against in side scrape. Kind of awkward tank to play though. So Hori, the best TD out there probably. So A tier, maybe even S, I'd assume, because it still has reactive for some reason. Wargaming won't remove it. STB still dog shit after all the nerfs. Maybe B tier at most. Type 71, probably B is like the most average tank you can play. It just has like good gold. Chieftain getting a buff, maybe S tier. I dislike the fact that they're nerfing the shell velocity, but the rest of the tank is getting mega buffed for some reason. I was looking at the armor earlier, which this is against an F3, for example. So if it's using gun depression, I think this is with pen boost. This is AP, so you only like pen the cupola. And some angles are bounces, so you need to hit like a bit low. Then you have like some random pens in the turret, but it's still like pretty tough to hit. And then if you switch to gold, you get a bit more pen, but it's still like kind of red. So yeah, this tank might be good next patch, guys. Yeah. Where's the chieftain buff? It's already pretty good. Shell velocity nerf, so 880 is going to be really bad on the AP. You don't really want to snipe too much, but it's still kind of accurate, so yeah, maybe you can make it work. Hash DPM buffed by basically 150, standard buffed by 120. Aim time buff, HP buff by 50, so not really worth talking about it too much. Terrain resistance, I think that's maybe a nerf, I don't know. But the effective terrain acceleration is going to be much better because you have gear oil. So yeah, it's a buff terrain resistance wise, it looks like. Cupola armor is buffed, that changes things a bit because it makes the profile a bit different. The top of the cupola is going to be red and you can't HE it so easily. And yeah, buffs on the turret. So maybe one of the biggest winners out of the patch. 183 probably D or C tier. If you're a very good player, you can maybe make it B tier at most. If you're like the average guy, it's probably C tier, and if you're a very bad player, it's D tier. It's like a very skill dependent tank. Like it's like really hard to explain why, but like if you're a bad player, you're gonna get one shot, maybe two miracle game on average, like maybe one shot on average, two on average, let's say. If you're a very good player, you're gonna play front line and kind of manage to make it work, and maybe you can do like 3k, 3.5k average if you're tryharding, which is below what other tanks would do. And the thing is, you're not really helping the team too much when you're playing 183. It's just a bad tank all around, but if you're really skilled, you can somewhat make it work in a decent-ish way. So C tier. I don't think like there are many tanks which are truly D tier. V215B getting a massive buff, massive maybe not, but big, at least significant armor buff. It's already like A tier or S tier. It's gonna stay there. Badger, I don't care about this tank too much. I think it's gonna probably stay like in the middle of the pack zone. FV405, really hard to tell how it's going to be. Probably if you're going for damage dealing, A or B. If you're going for the rest, it's going to be pretty fun also. But if you're going for winning, it's probably going to be like Panzer FE tier, so probably B tier. FV, I think that's the... Bruh, this is the Hesh gun. It's getting nerfed. The shell velocity is going to be horrible, and that makes it tough to snipe. And I don't know, it's not going to be great on average, I think. The heat gun is, however, getting buffed. It's going to be quite interesting. I was comparing, I think. Blitz kit, you can check a lot of stats. You just need to make sure that you're having the open test in the actual link. Wait. I'm slightly slow mentally. Apologize, it's kind of the end of the day. Is that the heat gun? No, that's the hash gun. Let's compare it to um, T10. M60. And let's go STV also to show how dog shit the STV is. FV with the heat gun has basically a better DPM across the board, better alpha across the board, better shell velocity. The accuracy is kind of on par. The only thing which is like kind of behind is the moving characteristics of the gun, like the on the move shit. Whatever, it's just gonna handle like slightly bit worse when you're moving around. And depression is basically like even with the other tanks. Speed better than the other tanks by quite a lot. Like it looks like it's much better, and it has a better top speed. Health on par pretty much. Fire chance it burns a bit, yeah, sure. And the armor is probably like it's getting buffed, and the armor is gonna be, I think, kind of fine-ish. They're buffing the turret, so that I didn't like think this was gonna be relevant, but it's still kind of interesting. This is with like 275 pen, so you kind of go through it. But if you're fighting like low pen guns, E50M without Cali, if he's shooting at APs, he's not going through the turret reliably at distance, at range. Even with heats, if he's hitting the edges, he's not going through. So if you're peeking a hole down, you only see this part, you don't have that much to shoot at. And the gun's obviously a bit in the way. And if, yeah, if they're running Cali, I guess they pen quite a bit more, but still. It's gonna be nice, and it still has trollish armor, so yeah, interesting. Might be one of the sneaky OP tanks for randoms. Could be S tier. Could be one of the better mediums out there. Super Kong, boring tank to play, but probably still A tier. I'm gonna put a B tier though, because I don't really enjoy it too much, and it might be a bit playable, but I don't know, man. Yeah, Heuristic S tier. Vickers Light probably gonna be OP next patch, at least for randoms. Probably gonna be Clan Wars playable because it has great hash DPM. Where's the wait patch notes? Vickers should be around here. Yeah, so they're buffing like the gun antlet, so that when it's hold down versus AP, it's gonna be tough to pen if you're snapshotting at range and he's hold down. So that's still interesting. And they're buffing the view range by 10, so it's going to be a better scout as it used to be. Top speed is getting buffed by 3, so it's going to be faster, like more on par like the other tanks. Extra gun depression, so it's going to have better armor when it's hold down, because obviously you're using more gun depression. This upper plate sometimes gets pretty red already, and it's going to make it more flexible. It's getting better horsepower, so it's going to be faster. And yeah, I think that's I mean, they're making it more mobile and a better scout, so the gun is already fine. I think the only problem is you don't have gold ammo, and the alpha's kind of shit. So sometimes it's pretty rough to get the damage out. But if you're more flexible and you do more, you get into position faster and you're able to scout a bit better, you might be able to make the maybe a couple extra shots a game that you need to make this tank playable, or at least more comfortable in randoms and more consistent. And it might be playable in tournaments to basically hash other light tanks to death. So guaranteeing a 1v1 win. Also, it's heavy, so you can ram other tanks. I don't want to speak about Kran. I don't like. Yeah, bro, you disagree, but I think these tanks are like so mid. Like it's not this. The Kran is getting a nerf. 50 hit points isn't a buff to compensate for the other thing. Like it's at most gonna be B tier. Maybe it's gonna be playable on like hold down maps, but on like how's it called? Normandy. Um, but the F3 just like it's not the F3 in comparison is not getting any nerfs. Like it's just getting the reactive armor removed, which isn't a nerf to the tank. It is a nerf. Like come on, but it's not changing the tank significantly. Um, Especially for randoms. concept is getting changed. Hard to tell how it will be. Probably a bit clunky. Could be B or A. It depends. Maybe A. Yo, I don't know about this tank. It's not hasn't been great. It's probably gonna be okay. Both in B tier, I guess. Pattern is probably really good right now. It's getting nerfed, so maybe A or B tier. Probably fine to have it at either. It's kind of easy to play. Same for M60. I'm not really hyped on those, so yeah. E3 getting an armor buff, still going to be like dumb tank, not really great ceiling because it's slow, but the armor is going to be pretty tough. E4 is getting somewhat of a buff, but still not a great tank, probably like B or C tier. E5 getting, I think, a buff overall. It's going to be probably A tier if you're like a good player looking for an all-rounder kind of tank. It's not the easiest tank to play, even though it's kind of like lame. It has good turret armor. It's pretty mobile. It's not super mobile. The gun is pretty good. DPM is like middle of the pack, pretty good. Gets tracked easily. It's an okay tank. Okay plus. T57, not great. Pretty rough to play. You can do some good damage with it, but it's not going to carry that many games. I think it's like kind of C or B. They're not doing anything like amazing to it. E5 is going to be amazing. S tier. I'm not so hyped with E5. E6 was S tier, at least for randoms. Maybe A tier for tournaments or B tier for tournaments. I think it's the turret nerf is going to impact it somewhat, but it still remains like a very competitive tank, I think. Because being a hold down was obviously like really strong with it, because people were not penning you so much, but people still were able to shoot gold through your turret. And that was obviously still a bit annoying, and now they're going to be able to do that more reliably. But anyway, I think with D6 you weren't relying on the armor too much anyway. You should be like using your hit points as like you should be like you're basically a fat medium. Sheridan Missile, not a real tank. Sheridan, I hate this tank. I think it's garbage. I hate the players which play it. I don't like to play. I don't like to play against it. I think it's like the 183 of the light tanks. So yeah, and I don't know, B tier, C tier maybe, C tier because I hate them. XM, pretty strong. Getting the mantlet buffed, probably B or A tier. I don't really like to play it because the gun is a bit trollish, but it's pretty good. As for maybe A, maybe even S tier because the armor is getting a significant buff. Wait, where is it? Yeah, the IS-4 currently looks like that. So you can pen the lower plate and you can pen the upper plate with gold. Now, even with gold, 325 gold, it's not really high, but it's going to be able to like be strong against and hold down against most gold. And now even sideways, it's going from like easy gray pen to like probably not going to go through most of the time. The only problem is this lower plate stays very gray, but you're going to be able to side script really well. And obviously being hold down is fine, even though you don't have a lot of gun depression. IS-7. Like this tank has been nerfed so many times, I don't know what to say. Like shit a tank. I don't know, like C tier. 140 getting buffed, so probably S tier. Like it's getting a big speed buff. And a slight armor buff. Like the turret's gonna be a bit more red. Speed buff is really what it needs, I think. And a little like DPM buff. So like being that much faster, 4 kilometers is pretty significant. Especially with the yeah, I think it's gonna be fine. So either A or S. For me, S personally, but for most players, maybe like B or A because it's kind of tough to play still. Maybe playable in Clan Wars to DPM depending on the meta, but I'm scared about some upcoming things. 260 probably A. I don't really like it too much, but it's getting buffed. Right. Oh, there it goes. Yeah. Basically a slight. Basically a slight buff. So probably gonna be fine, I guess. Um. So I think this tank is probably gonna be A tier. It's probably B tier right now. Surely not S. So A tier at max. I don't like this tank. I think it's C or B tier right now, but probably A now. 263 is getting a gun arc buff, so maybe A tier for randoms, but not more than that. It's not very flexible. Kind of the fun tanks out there, I guess. Um, Wait, let me check. Let me check. 263. Oh, skipped it. Sorry. There we go. Small speed and therefore not really relevant. Plus 50% to the gun arc. That's a lot. Gun traverse speed buffed, so it's going to be more responsive. Terrain resistance buffed, so it's going to be faster. It's going to accelerate much faster. So this tank might actually be very, very nice because it's not going to be as sluggish as it is now. It's going to be able to side scrape much better. And the 2 kilometers speed buff, nerf, sorry, not really relevant because it was not reaching that speed anyway before. Um, yeah, the eyes for a gun might be horrible. I think it's like for randoms, it's definitely probably not going to be S tier. So maybe like A or even B depending. But I'm really hyped regarding the IS-4 as a positional tank, at least in tournaments. Um, because like you can put it in the B cap on Goldsville, on Mine Ruins, and it's basically unkillable. Wait, let's reassess on the IS-4. Right. Seriously? Am I gonna have to go with them? Horrible Fortune? Where is it? There it is. Reload time 1 second nerf. DPM is going to be 2.6k, so it's not great, but it's not horrible. Top speed is going to be 38, so, which is not great. But the horsepower per ton is also getting somewhat nerfed, which is going to be pretty bad. Aim time is getting massive nerf. That's going to be pretty disgusting. Still has speed boost, so that makes it like temporarily decent. Pen is getting boosted to 340, so you're going to go through like everything like butter with Cali. It's going to be like 380, 390 pen. Upper plate, lower plate buff to 205. We don't really see that really well here, do we? And that's it, and then it's just the armor buff. 2684 garbage tank getting buffed. Probably still garbage. I hate this tank. It's like it's sluggish, and the armor's not good enough. And what are they doing to it? What are they doing to it? So gun buff. Oh no, nerf. So it's gonna be worse. And slight damage buff. I mean, cool. Just make it keep making it shit. Well, luckily we don't want this thing to be too good. 268, one of my favorite TDs, probably like A tier. What is 268? Damage nerfed by like 20. It's back to 670. DPM buffed by like 60. Not really worth talking about. And it's gonna be a bit more mobile, so mobile. And it's gonna turn quicker, obviously, so it's probably gonna be hard to circle. This tank is good, I like it. I think it's one of those tank which it's easy to do a lot of damage with. Camera ratings is also crazy on it. 777, so it's probably like an A tier tank. Tank is pretty vanilla. I don't like it too much, but it's alright. It's like basically a 113 kind of, but with more trollish armor. 907, one of my favorite tanks, which I don't really play anymore because it's not great. Probably B tier, A tier. It's great at sniping, but why would you play 907 if you can play 140? Honestly, or a leopard. The 907 can snipe and it's fast and it has good profile, but it has not great armor. It just doesn't get HE'd, thank God. And the DPM is not great, so you can't do reliably great damage. T100 is getting nerfed. Probably still going to be A tier just because it has so much camo and such a low profile. Still very strong, even though it won't have the same DPM. T22 probably A or B tier. It's a strong tank with strong armor, can do stupid things, but the damage output isn't the best because the gun is trollish. T62A, one of the biggest winners in the patch, getting like fucking massive armor buff and buff all around. 62. 62A. Why does it open this? Thank you very much. From like you can pen it with gold to it's going to be impossible to pen the upper plate with AP, possible with gold somewhat, but if it's using gun depression, you're not going through shit. And DPM is buffed to 3.3k, which is decent. The accuracy is getting buffed to 370, which is basically the same as most of the mediums, so that's going to be alright. And it's going to be slightly faster, and it still has a speed boost, so it's probably going to be pretty decent. I was checking again for the 907, probably lame tank. Like lame buffs, lame changes. Bliskavica, one of the highest TD supply, probably like B tier. It's not getting any changes. Unfortunately, I'd like this tank to be more playable, but the armor is just not great, and the mobility is like okay plus. And if you're at range, you can't do shit. So a lot of the time, it's kind of frustrating to play. Felice, I haven't played this tank. There's a chance that this tank is S tier because it just seems so bullshit. The armor seems like insanely ridiculous. Probably not as good as the F3 just because it's slower and the DPM seems to be worse, but the tank all around just looks dumb. Check this out. Check this out. Dumb tank. Really dumb tank. Like, actually, factually dumb. Only you'll have a cupola here. This is 240 pen. If you switch to gold with 360 pen heat, it is still, you can pen it if it's not looking at you. If it's looking at you, you only have this if it's hold down, and if it's using gun depression, brother. If you don't have Cali, you can't pen it. Yep, it's dumb. Let's check out with the Hori, but the Hori probably like pens it no problem, I guess. Or somewhat no problem. Yeah, the Hori just goes through it, so maybe the Hori is a good counter to this thing. Because it has also reactive on the Hori. Comparing this tank. European. Felice. And the other guy is Chinese. Where is it? There we go. 116. 116 has worse DPM, surprisingly, worse alpha. It has the worse gold pen out of the two, but not by much. But it has like the better like aim time by a little bit. Better soft stats for the gun. Worse accuracy by a significant margin though. It has less depression. But it's much more mobile, and I think that's quite important. It has less HP also. Yeah, also clips much faster because this is like 4 seconds intra clip. Yeah, 4.5, which is horrible. And it has a long reload. Anyway, so Felice might be a menace. Could be A or S tier. B, KPZ70. I don't really get the armor profile. Maybe we can check it out right now, to be honest. Where is this thing? Okay. Hey there. So, turret is red, but you have problematic cupolas. Yeah, so the armor is not great. is it? Unless you're hull down, but you still have this massive tumor on the side, and you can't really hide it. So, meh. But it is going to be a pretty fast tank, however. I think if you compare it to the i7, it's like better in all regards, but the armor, basically. Where's my i7? There we go. Like the i7 has fucking everything red. Also, this tank has tungsten, so the DPM buff, DPM advantage the i7 have isn't really that much of a thing. So the i7 is like worse in basically everything except a bit of health and the armor being better, significantly better, I guess, but maybe not that much. Much more trollish for sure. So BZTs may be like a decent tank, maybe B or A tier. Kind of depends, I guess. Let's put it like A tier for the hype. And this guy's not getting any changes, and it's like basically an FE405, so probably like B tier, C tier, worse. It's not very flexible, so probably C tier. And I think that's oh yeah, type 5. I forgot the type 5. Let's act as if this guy is a type 5. Um, type 5 could probably be A tier. I don't think it'll be S because I mean, although it has a lot of armor, has a lot of hit points, and the gun is pretty punchy. The reload is just like a bit long, and if you're against good players, you get penned. For randoms, it's probably like S. For tournament, it's probably like A, maybe B. So yeah, I think that that sums it up pretty well. I'm gonna cut the stream now. I need to go and have some foods. I wish you all a pleasant evening. If you have any interesting comments, please leave them down in the comments when the stream will be over. I didn't rate RHM actually, I forgot about it. Okay, okay. Let's act as if this Sheraton is the RHM. Oh, it's S tier. My favorite tank probably. Um, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, the RHM is gonna be insane next patch. It's getting like amazing buffs. Where is it? Where's my boy? Like the best view range in the game, so you're going to be spotting from very far, very rarely with the speed boost. Alpha damage buff, which makes the DPM better and gun feel a bit more punchy, especially with the tungsten. Reload buff, which makes the gun feel better. DPM buff to 3.3, almost 3.4k. APSR buff, which makes it more comfortable. So yeah, and it has all the abilities and all the bells and whistles the RHM has. So yeah, thank you, Raima. And yeah, that's gonna be it, I guess. So yeah, as I said, leave the comments in or contact me on Discord if you want to. I'll maybe make another one of these at some point. Hopefully that was of some help. And yeah, that's it for me. Have a nice evening, guys.